Welcome to Calcast, your Create International podcast. God Network News, where we give you a new perspective
on events happening in our world today.
This is GNN.
This is God Network News, episode 230. Welcome, GNN fans, to another episode of God Network News, the podcast that tells you what God's doing around the world. Not what CNN tells you, but what GNN tells you is going on in the world. If you're tired of listening to all of that crisis network news and you want to hear what God's doing, well, give us a listen.
I don't want to mention the place, but we oversee the work there. We have 5 underground churches. Just through farming and sports and, general interaction, God is giving us a lot of Somalis that are coming to know Him. And then the other thing we realize that God has been moving among Somalis, but they just don't know who to share their heart with. Like we've had several testimonies that this man they call Hise, which is Jesus in Somali, has been visiting me every night, telling me that I should follow him. But I have never seen a Christian around me. So such kind of stories, we just take them so seriously, and then we follow them up, and then within no time, such kind of a person gives their life to Jesus. We have several of such kind of stories happening, whereby Jesus himself is going out, is reaching out to the Somalis. Another example that really shook my heart, it was in 2020 March. I met this guy called Mohammed, and then we were just talking over tea. And then I asked him, how did you give your life to Jesus? Then he says, Jesus himself came following me. He reached out to me, and then he told me is the life way, and I should follow him. So he followed Jesus, but Jesus told him something else that really challenged my heart. He said that the reason why I came is because the people who are supposed to be sharing this gospel to you, but they're just not coming to you. So I decided to come by myself. That was somewhere in Ethiopia. That testimony has, that shattered my heart. That you see, Jesus is the great evangelist. Is coming out, just to do some of the things that we are supposed to be doing, but because of fear, we're not doing it. So there are many things that are happening among Somalis. For the last 15 years that we've been working among the Somalis, many things are happening. We're seeing salvations, we're seeing prayer movements, we're seeing, Somalis reaching out to their own Somalis. In this part of the world where I work, I'm tempted to mention the place, but I may not mention the place and the names. We have this guy who is like my first generation of disciple. He's so passionate about Somalis, and then he says, I am not leaving the mission field until I see a Somali church emerging and the church sending out missionaries. Somali church emerging and Somali church sending out missionaries. And these guys are committed to it. And then behind him, we have a team of about, how many? About 17 to 22 young people who, from one of the universities around there, who are doing DMM on the campus and out of the campus. And they're saying, we actually applied to come to this university because it's among the Somalis. We had opportunities to go to other universities, but because of our love for Somalis, we applied to come to this place. And God is using them in a very mighty way to reach out to Somalis.
You're listening to God Network News Podcast with your host, Cal Curtis. Look up our website at godnetworknews.com.
There's a story of a young lady I met last year. And she was telling me that she was living a reckless life on campus in one of the southern Ethiopia. She was living a reckless life while on campus. And then there was a time when she wanted to fall off from first floor to commit suicide. And then one of her friends just pulled her in, and then she talked to her. She gave her life to Jesus. And then from that time, God filled her love for the lost people, and He gave her specific call towards the Somalis. And then she said, when she told her mom that she's born again, they were all excited. But when she told them that she's supposed to go and live and work among the Somalis in the Somali region, the father said, "No, you are my only daughter. I can't allow you to go. I will not give you transport to go." So what she did, she had a laptop that the father had bought for her during days in the university. She gave it to one, my friend. He sold the laptop, gave the money to her, and it's like she ran away from her parents to pursue her call among the Somalis. She's currently learning Somali language, and she has what we call pre-conversion discipleship engagement with many Somali women. There are a lot of things that are happening among Somalis. We just don't have time to enumerate, to count them like this. There are many things that are happening. And the other thing that gives me hope and be on fire is how the church, some of the believers are responding to. We do daily prayers for the Somalis, and people are responding to it and sharing those prayer points to other people in other networks within Kenya, within the East and Horn of Africa, and beyond. And people are really praying, and some people are catching vision for Somalis. Like just before I came to this place, a friend of mine just called me, said, "I have two guys, they say that they have a vision for Somalis." So for me, I just attribute that one to answered prayers. So there's a lot of intercessory prayers for the Somalis, and we are glad that we are part of this movement. There's a lot of evangelistic activities that are happening among Somalis, both in this country and in the Horn of Africa. There are a lot of disciple-making movements that are going on among Somalis in this country and beyond. There are a lot of, Somalis coming together. One of my highlights in my Somali ministry for the last 15 years is this. In 2018, October 10th, I will never forget that. We met as some of our missionaries from different organizations in Nairobi. And we were just there, and one of the persons said that Somalis in Nairobi are saying they're tired of being called underground believers. They want to have their own Somali community church somewhere, they don't know where, as a testimony to their own people to know that Somalis also give their life to Jesus. Because there's a saying among Somalis, a Somali is born a Muslim, lives like a Muslim, dies like a Muslim, buried like a Muslim. That means he lives, he's born, he lives, he dies without the hope of ever knowing Jesus Christ. So there is that saying, but things are changing, because I think there's a lot of concerted prayers from different uncles, there are a lot of movements of people, from Somali, from areas that have majority Somalis to areas that are Christians. So we have an increase in terms of interaction with the Somalis from different places coming to places where the Christians are. and that one exposes them to the gospel.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider donating to help us continue to bring exciting stories fresh from the field. Visit our website at godnetworknews.com and select the PayPal link on the right side of the page, or consider becoming a Patreon partner to receive access to more valuable materials exclusive to our members.